Almost 8 decades ago, a great Indian gave the Declaration of India's independence. This degree came as a great beacon of hope to millions of Indians who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. Yet, 78 years from that, the citizens are not free. This problem is not just limited to India, but is a global problem. This problem is not from some colonizers or some other state. It is from our own mindset of validation. Most of the people would have lifted their hooks of interest as soon as they heard the last word, thinking that this speech is going to be highly philosophical or that they are someone who isn't affected by this. If you think this doesn't apply to you, that's exactly why I'm here. Still, I see a lot of confused faces in the audience, not understanding a speck of what I'm saying. For starters, validation is when you constantly look at the reactions of others on your voice, your looks, your dressing, basically everything you are and everything you do. You assess yourself based on the reactions of others, and that's not something abnormal. It's not just you. Even a TED speaker looks for interested faces, heads lifted, and invested individuals. After all, that's what gives you the confidence, isn't it? This is where the problem starts, where you completely give the strings of your confidence into the hands of validation. People start wearing a mask in front of others due to the fear of being judged for what they really are. And these masks aren't limited to them just wearing it, they try to mold their original faces into the shapes of these overhyped masks, which they think is perfect, but as you know, it isn't. How ironic. Now, let me introduce you to Rahul. He is one of billions of mask bearers. This guy is like the champion of life, academically exceptional, a beast on the basketball court, teachers loved him, parents used him as an example. But there was a secret weakness, a chink in his armor. He was lonely. He joins a new basketball academy in order to level up his skills. There he sees them, the group they walk differently, they talk differently, they laugh differently, they radiate this effortless coolness one would desire. Rahul wanted to be their friend, and in order to be so, he thought first he needs to be them. Thus, the observation started, the analysis began. Rahul started to closely watch at every move they made, every reaction they gave, and started to stalk such that nothing they did at the academy could slip through his watch. Rahul understood that they were typical book haters. They were the kind of people who never took studies seriously. The impact, Rahul copied the same. Rahul understood that they were rude to outsiders and the people they didn't know. The impact, Rahul stopped smiling at the people in the hallway and threw his kind attitude and good behavior into the bin. Rahul copy pasted every inch of their personality onto his soul. In a matter of weeks, it worked. Rahul was finally in. He should be happy, right? This is where the story gets dark. Rahul was living in a constant state of anxiety. Every day was a performance. Did I laugh too loud? Did I say the wrong thing? Will they understand that I'm a nerd who actually likes maths? Rahul started to treat every second of his life with validation. Now, why did Rahul do this? It turns out that this isn't just Rahul. This problem is so common that it even has a name and a disorder associated with it. This is known as social anxiety, and the disorder is known as social anxiety disorder, or SAD for short. Social anxiety affects nearly 1 in 10 people worldwide as per the Cleveland Clinic, which means if you look around this room, someone near you is silently fighting this battle, and you might be too. Being a teenager, I get it. We are flooded with social, emotional, and hormonal changes. Our brains are literally rewiring themselves to seek social connection. We crave that nod of approval. We want to be seen. I see my own friends doing this right now. I see them expressing ideas they don't even believe in. I see them dressing in ways that makes them uncomfortable. I've even had friends tip me off telling me to do what they are doing because it is the ideal way to exist. They are so terrified of being themselves because they think being themselves isn't enough. This leaves me standing here, asking myself, why am I the only unmasked one? Is it because I am far from being perfect? Is it because there is something I don't understand? Or is it because I see the trap? I want you all to take a couple of seconds and look back into your life to identify moments where you had looked for validation. You don't need to raise your hands, just be brutally honest with yourself, because lying is equals to wearing a mask. Okay, I can feel the tension in the room. Now let's get back to Rahul, because his story doesn't end with him being cool due to the fact that he was wasting all his energy memorizing lines for a play he didn't want to be a part of. His grades crashed. Due to the fact that he adopted that rude persona, he started snapping at his own friends, the friends who really loved him for being him. He lost his grades, he lost his friends, he sacrificed everything he had to buy a mask that didn't fit right on his face, something that doesn't align with him, something that doesn't represent him, something that his soul doesn't agree with. What happened to Rahul? He failed, not merely in his school exams, but in his life. He didn't fail because he wasn't smart, he failed because he treated his life like a classroom test. He looked at the people sitting next to him and copied their answers. And here's the bitter truth that nobody tells you: life is not a standardized test. You can't look at the person sitting next to you and copy their answers because they have a completely different question paper. Now, just because Rahul encountered the event of failure doesn't mean that now Rahul is a failure. Rahul's story doesn't end in failure, it ends in a warning. A warning that fitting in should never cost you yourself. Their question paper is based on their strengths, their abilities, and their weaknesses. When you copy their answers, being their choices, their behaviors, and their attitudes, you are writing the correct answer. It's great until you realize to the wrong question. Validation is a drug. You lose every sense of presence and every capability to think, feel, and act in the way you did. You think you're doing the right thing. You should have started earlier and you are on the road to perfection. And that's obviously not the case. And I'm not just here to talk about what's wrong. I'm here to also share my dream. A dream for a better future. A future where we don't judge choices, we respect them. A future where we don't have to live two lives, one for the crowd and one for the mirror. It isn't just you. Imagine being one of the most influential artists of the 2020s, selling Eras Tour worth more than $2 billion, having more than 100 Guinness records. If you haven't identified until now, I'm talking about one of the greatest musical stars. She is one of many who has openly confessed being the victim of lifelong validation and later advocated for the same in public. So, to all my friends, to all the people sitting over here, and to all the people watching this video, stop stressing about the statements made by others, the reactions given by others, and the expressions provided by others. If you had to ask me, what did I learn from Rahul? I would say to not fall for the captivity of validation. So, put down that mask, showing your true face. Write the correct answer to the correct question. Throw that drug of validation away so you can never find it. And work for the future we want to see. So next time, before you ask, will they like me? Ask something harder. Will I like who I've become when I try to be them? The answer might just set you free. Thank you.